So one of the most exciting pairs of true wireless earbuds launched at CES 2021 is undoubtedly these bad boys here, the Soundcore Liberty Air Pro 2. Bit of a mouthful, It'll cost you $130 in the US or 130 quid here in the UK, and for that price they offer some really good premium features including full-on audio customization, you've got a strong bit of active noise cancellation, and they're endorsed by a whole bunch of Grammy award winning artists including Neo. Remember Neo? I sure as shit do, because that song was never off the radio. 'Cause I'm so sick of love songs, so tired of tears. So what does Neo have to say about the Soundcore Liberty Air Pro 2? Well, and I quote, "These headphones are super dope." And to see if the Liberty Air Pro 2s really are super dope or just slightly dope, I've been testing out these true wireless earbuds as my full-time headphones for the last week. So here's my in-depth review, and for more of the latest greatest tech, please do poke subscribe and ding that notifications bell. Cheers! Now I've got to admit, my first impressions of these Soundcore buds weren't too strong the first time I slid them out of the case and shoved them into my locals. They feel decidedly plasticky and they look rather cheap as well, kind of similar to a lot of budget-friendly earbuds that I've tested over the years. That said, I've certainly tested far uglier true wireless earbuds. They don't jut too far from your locals, so they are fairly subtle once you get them in there, despite the dangly down stem bits a la the AirPods. And as well as standard black and white models, you can get them in this blue hue and also a spangly pink version if you want to look ooh la la. But I certainly had no issues with the Liberty Air Pro 2s when it came to comfort, because you've got the usual silicone squidgy earbud tips on there, so they just sit in your ears nice and comfy, and I could wear them for hours at a time, no problem, helped along by the fact that the buds are so nice and light and they certainly don't move around in there or anything as well. And while most manufacturers, they only bundle generally 2 or 3 different sizes of silicone tip, Soundcore has gone all out by bundling 9 different sizes of tips in there, so you're sure to find one that fits you well. And you've got full IPX4 sweat and water resistance on here as well, so no worries if you're outside getting drizzled on or you want to work up a bit of a sweat in the gym, or not in the gym anymore thanks to lockdowns, in your own personal gym, i.e. your garage. Now when it comes to connecting to your smartphone or whatever device you're using for audio streaming, no worries there. I found I hooked up to a variety of different Android devices, no problems, just quick tap in the menus, job done. And only once during my entire week of testing the Air Pro 2s did I experience any kind of audio dropout. It just lasted for a couple of seconds, and to be perfectly honest, I'm not sure if it was the phone or the buds. I think it might have been the phone, but there was certainly no repeat performance. Apart from that, the connection was strong and stable. Now once you've hooked up these buds to your phone, you're going to instantly want to dive into Google Play Store, Apple App Store, whatever, and download the Soundcore app, because this is definitely where the magic happens. This is where the Soundcore Liberty Air Pro 2s go above and beyond. One of the best features can be found with a quick swipe right, and what this basically offers up is a whole buttload of custom EQs and also the ability to cook up your own. The selection here is pretty damn good, covering most of the main musical genres. You've also got the likes of spoken word and podcast, which help to highlight vocals as well, make them sound really, really nice. It's definitely well worth playing around with, experimenting with, and for instance, bass fans will probably enjoy a bit of the bass boost, although I found that the bass was really, really heavy with that active, so I wasn't really a fan. Otherwise, the Soundcore app also boasts a built-in hearing test, as it were, which just basically blasts a whole load of frequencies into both of your ears, and you have to determine which ones you can actually hear, which ones you can't, and then it builds a custom EQ based entirely on the results. And I gotta say, after a lot of playing around, I did actually stick with that custom EQ because I really liked the nice balanced sound that I got out of those 11mm drivers. I found that the bass was still reasonably beefy for your better metal, hip-hop, jazz, whatever you're listening to, but the rest of the range came through fine as well. The finer details trickled through as well. Not quite as good as some rivals that I've tested out, but definitely the level of customization this offers, the fact that you can piddle about with it to such a degree, is definitely going to be a major turn on for a lot of audio fans. And the other big whoop of the Soundcore Liberty Air Pro 2s is the fact that they feature built-in active noise cancellation, and it's almost as good, maybe just about as good as the Oppo Enco X and the Huawei FreeBuds Pro, which I've also recently tested, which cost about the same, maybe a little bit more. You can turn on that active noise cancellation feature right there in the Soundcore app, and then you can actually change the frequency at which it operates as well to match your surroundings, be it, blocking out the ceaseless warblings of your family or that annoying low rumble of passing traffic or trains. And providing you're using the best size silicone tip to actually provide a proper seal between yourself and your environment, I did find they worked really, really well, especially with the likes of the train noise and the traffic and everything. It's great if you're outdoors, you want to be listening to a podcast, but you want to have it on a low volume, not to wreck your hearing. And as well as activating or deactivating ANC within the app, you can also do the exact same thing by long pressing on either bud. Otherwise, there is actually a Soundcore widget, which once again allows you to quickly activate or deactivate ANC and also toggle the different frequency modes. And I absolutely love this feature. It's definitely a great way of saving time, so you don't have to keep on opening the app whenever you want to change what it's doing. There's also a transparency mode if you want it as well, and you can actually have it toggle between the noise cancellation and the transparency mode with the long press or there in the widget or the app. The transparency mode basically just does the opposite of active noise cancellation. It pipes in all of the stuff that's going on all around you. It's really handy if you want to have a conversation with someone who's just started talking at you, you want to listen to like a trade announcement, something like that. To be honest though, I find it just as convenient to just yank out one of the Liberty Air Pro 2s whenever somebody starts talking at you, especially because doing so auto pauses your music, your podcast, whatever you're listening to. Then when you bung it back in, it picks up exactly where you left off. The rest of the touch controls here on the Liberty Air Pro 2 are pretty limited. You've basically got that hold for 2 seconds, otherwise you've also got a double tap feature as well. I set it up so the left bud paused or played my music, and then the right bud just skipped to the next track. It certainly would have been nice to have like a triple tap option, just so I could triple tap the right bud to raise the volume and then triple tap the left bud to lower it back down again. So whenever I did have to change the volume, I did unfortunately have to dig out my smartphone or use my smartwatch. I know, right? Talk about first world problems. But beyond that, I can't complain about the touch controls on the Soundcore Liberty Air Pro 2 buds. They worked absolutely perfectly, and I found I never accidentally activated them when I was like fumbling with one of the buds, which thankfully I didn't have to do too often because, as I said, they were quite a comfy fit. Now between these two buds you've got a total of 6 built-in microphones as well on the inside and the outside, so basically you can pick up on your voice nice and clean and clear while also cutting out all the external bollocks that's going on all around you. And this seemed to work absolutely fine. Even in fairly noisy environments, the other person could easily hear what I was banging on about, so thumbs up. As for the battery life, well, the Liberty Air Pro 2s definitely do not disappoint there either. I tended to get between 5 to 6 hours of life with the active noise cancellation permanently turned on. If you knock that off, you'll probably get about an extra hour or 2 overall, so not, amongst the absolute best true wireless earbud battery life, but certainly better than average. And when the sound cores are finally drained, it's time to shove them back in the rather chunky box, I've got to say. But even though it's a bit of a girthy beast, I've got to say this is one of my highlights as well, because Shazam! I'm sorry, I know it's geeky as but I could do that all day. And then just slip the Liberty Air Pro 2s back on into that case. You've got that magnetic connection so they don't go dropping out and skittering across the floor, which of course is an absolute nightmare with true wireless earbuds. You've actually got dinky LEDs on top of each of the buds which flash to let you know that they are charged, and you've also got some dinky LEDs here on the case which tell you how much charge is left in the case. You'll get so between 2 and 3 full charges of those buds from the case before the case itself will also need a recharge. And you can do that either via a bit of Type-C USB action, otherwise the case also supports Qi wireless charging as well if you happen to have a wireless charging pad. And once they're in there, the buds do charge pretty quick as well. Just 5 or 10 minutes in there will give you a full hour of use, so plenty for a commute if you actually still commute. So after a week of testing them as my full-time headphones, I gotta say that Neo was right. The Soundcore Liberty Air Pro 2s are pretty super dope. The active noise cancellation is definitely very impressive indeed at this sort of price point, so it's certainly a strong rival to the likes of the Oppo Encore X's. And of course the main benefit here is the fact that you've got that excellent sound customization as well, so definitely check out that Soundcore app if you get the Liberty Air Pro 2s on the go. So that's what I think, but it'd be great to hear from you guys as well. What is your favourite Neo song of all time? Gotta be hearing that down in the comments below. Please do poke, subscribe, ding that notifications bell for more on the latest and greatest tech. Lots coming out of CES 2021, so I'll probably be a rather busy boy for the next few months. What's new? And have yourselves a lovely rest of the week. Cheers everyone. Love you.